Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about Clown in a Cornfield.
Clown in a pornfield.
No, in a cornfield.
Clown in a pornfield.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
I think we watched the wrong movie. Anyway, Clown in a Cornfield is directed by Eli Craig, who some of you may know as the director of Tucker and Dale vs. Evil and the highly underrated Little Evil.
Yeah, you should watch both of those. They're great.
They're great movies. This movie is a slasher film that is adapted from the young adult book series called Clown in a Cornfield.
A young adult book series we had no idea fucking existed.
I had no idea it existed until this movie came out, but apparently it's popular because when I mentioned I was seeing this movie, a whole lot of people are like, I love those books. So, hey, rock on.
I would have thought they were fucking with me.
Fair enough.
Because the thing is, I think I saw some of those covers on, like, Blue Sky, and I thought it was a joke.
But here's the thing. The writer of those books, Adam Cesare, actually has a YouTube channel where he reviews movies kind of like we do. So, he's one of us. He's
excellent.
He's one of our people. So anyway, this movie follows a girl named Quinn who moves to a small town with her dad following the tragic death of her mother, only to befriend a couple locals and have her new friend group get killed off one by one by a psychotic clown named Friendo.
That's the movie!
That's the movie. That about sums it up, except that's not exactly the movie. There's actually a lot more to it, but almost everything that's more to it is a spoiler.
Yeah. The foundation upon which the movie is built is that, but there's a lot more built on top of it.
It's got a standard slasher foundation, which is that premise we just described, but it also has so many twists and turns, it kind of has its own unique thing going on.
Yeah, but the only thing I really hated about this movie, no nudity.
That's true. There is no nudity in this. Finding out it's based on a young adult series kind of explains that.
It kind of explains that, but they should put it back in.
That being said, it is a pretty R-rated movie. There's a lot of blood.
It is.
In this movie.
It is.
So,
it's not a PG film.
But there is a lot of sexual tension in this movie because a huge part of the plot of the movie involves Quinn befriending this guy Cole and the sexual tension between them up to and until we get to spoiler territory.
Yeah. Well, we will tell you whether he's the killer or not.
But a cool element to this movie that's kind of unique to this movie is the fact that the characters have a YouTube channel that they themselves run, which is based around taking the old mascot from the old factory in the town that everyone used to work at and making that mascot, Friendo the Clown, into a serial killer on their YouTube channel. So there's like a meta thing happening here where they created a serial killer fictionally, but now that real thing is going after them.
Yeah, and I think they said that those videos got like 10,000 views, and I was like, oh, hardly a viral hit then.
Not exactly a viral hit, but also not completely ignored.
Yeah. Like, people have seen it.
People have seen it. Big enough for them to be doing it as like an actual prospect in their future.
Yeah, because one of them could hit. Yeah.
But it's also small enough that they're not like full-on influencer celebrities.
Exactly.
The thing that I really liked about this movie is it does a really good job laying out all the potential red herrings throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know this clown's going around killing people, but the question is, who among the cast is the clown? There's the magical potential because there's this...
Yeah, he could be a spirit or something.
He could be. There's this element in the movie where every time he appears, it seems to happen right after someone plays this music box that appears in front of everyone who gets killed.
Yeah. So does that summon him? Is
does
he
it summon
ghost?
him?
You know,
is that like the Hellraiser box? You know, like you're summoning Friendo every time you use it. Is it like the monkey in the monkey?
Yeah.
I don't know. The kids apparently at one point were blamed for the factory that the town used to thrive on burning down when they were filming one of their videos.
Yeah, the corn syrup factory.
Exactly. Because of that, almost every other character in this movie has a reason to want to kill these kids.
Yeah.
You have the teacher who is bullied by the kids, first off.
That first fucking series of pranks they play on, you're like, whoa, man, I think you went too far.
But at the same time, can you blame the kids when you see the way he treats the kids?
You kind of get it at that point.
It's kind of like you get why both sides are very hostile with one another. So you have the teacher who's a potential suspect.
Yep.
You also have a store owner that they steal from from regularly, and they like could potentially get him in trouble by stealing alcohol and
One
shit.
of the things I thought was so funny about that store worker is that he looks like our friend Flashman.
He does.
Yeah.
He 100% does. If you're out there, Flashman, you should see this movie just to see your doppelganger in this movie.
Yeah. He's been in a few movies, so it could have been him.
I've never seen him with the full beard, so who knows?
Oh, I
Who
have.
knows?
I have. You know?
There's the sheriff who shows up.
Yeah.
Who has it out for them because of the factory as well. And the sheriff is just a complete bully. There's also the potential that one of the kids could be the killer.
Yes.
In particular, Cole, her love interest, you're looking at him the entire movie going like, did you burn down the factory and fuck over this whole town on purpose? Is there something else going on?
And then there's Rusty, the weird guy.
Yeah, Rusty, the weird guy, who she first meets, and he offers to like walk her home, or not walk her home, walk her to school, and is just very awkward and weird and is constantly warning him about the other kids. That makes him feel suspicious, but it also makes you suspicious of that group of friends.
Yeah.
Could this be like a Hell of a Summer situation, you know, where they're like killing people for views?
Right.
Is that what's going on? And it doesn't help that Cole is very weird and hot and cold with her throughout the movie.
Yes. Yeah, he'll get really close to her and then he'll just completely blow her off.
And so it's like, is this like a Billy Loomis situation going on? Like, what's going on here? Something does not feel right. And something isn't right, but we'll get into that in the spoiler section. But the movie does a really good job of weaving all of these possible things. There's also Cole's dad, who owned the factory.
Yeah, played by, what's that guy's name?
Kevin Durant or something like that.
Yeah. Often referred to as Elon Muscles.
Someone on Twitter called him Elon Muscles, and now I can't stop calling him that. Though I did like that you called him Elon Cornhusk in this movie. Because he's like the rich guy who like lords over the town because he owned the factory that everyone used to work at. So he's not quite the mayor, but he is the guy that kind of owns the town. So he has that like Elon Musk rich guy energy throughout the movie. And he clearly does not like his son. So there's a thing there. But yeah, this movie does a good job of weaving all that together. And most importantly, it made me care about these kids, even when the kids were being assholes.
Oh yeah, like nobody is an angel in this movie. Nobody. No. Absolutely nobody.
A lot of the adults are pieces of shit and a lot of the kids are pieces of shit. Yet despite that, the kids are still likable. In a lesser slasher movie, they just all would be douchebags and you just be waiting for them to all to die.
Yeah.
But this movie did a good job of like explaining the why. Can I blame Cole for being a bit of an asshole? Have you met his dad?
Well, not just the why that they're that way, but like the fact that they like each other.
Yes.
Like, they actually do like each other, even though they give each other shit. The difference between them and your average high school clique is once they've hazed the new girl. Yeah. Like, she's welcome in.
Yeah, she's 100% in. She's all in. They're not going to haze her again.
Yeah.
Unless they're just fucking with each other.
Yeah,
which happens.
They're not going to give it to her any worse than they give it to each other.
Exactly. You're now among us. You're one of us. 100%. Now, one of the things that's really cool about this entire dynamic in this movie is that it's a slasher movie that's actually kind of about something. Most slasher movies are just, get a bunch of teenagers, set up reasons for them to die. But this movie...
Yeah, it's either a complete, like, morality killing or, like, a revenge situation.
Or it's a situation where it's like, you have the city folk versus the rural folk, which is an element in this movie with the main character. But what this movie actually seems to be about is, like, generational warfare.
Yeah.
It's the tensions among the generations. You have all these Gen Z kids with their cell phones and their influencing and their YouTubes. And then you have, like, these Gen X factory workers.
Yeah.
And these boomer factory workers that hate these kids, and the kids hate them back.
Yeah, with the one exception being Gen X dad.
Yes, Gen X dad seems to be the one cool guy, but he's also not from this town, so he's kind of disconnected. His main reason for hating this group of kids is because they're taking his daughter out and getting her drunk and shit.
Yeah, getting her drunk, getting her high, like getting into car accidents.
Exactly.
Like,
normal teenage shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought this movie just fired on all cylinders in that way. Like, the only complaint, again, it's the thing that Jack said, for a slasher throwback movie, it would have been cool to have a little bit more nudity.
Well, there was definitely there's like a scene a couple of scenes where people start making out, and you're like, dude, if this was an 80s slasher, she wouldn't be in a bra or like a t-shirt. It would just been full on tits.
Even if you just did it in the opening scene, I'd be happy.
Oh, yeah.
Because the movie opens in like 1991, and there's like a group of burnouts that are having like some sort of party in a barn, and like this girl leads this guy into the cornfield after playing with the music box. So there's that question, is that what summons friendo? And they're obviously gonna have sex, so she starts stripping, but she goes into the cornfield before like you could see any nudity.
Yeah, and I'm like, if this had been an 80s slasher, she would have just like taken her top off and shimmied around and then gone into the cornfield.
All I'm saying is that's the scene right there where it would have been most justified. And if you wanted to not do that with your main cast, okay, fine. Just put it there at the beginning.
Yeah,
with your opening kills.
It's the one aspect of those movies that I feel that a lot of the modern movies that are inspired by them are they're missing out on.
Yeah, it's kind of getting lost with time.
Yeah.
You could update it.
Yeah.
You can update it. There is no reason why you can't show a fucking full dong dude in one of these movies these days. Just equal opportunity nudity.
Yeah.
Anyway, my fellow gorehounds, Clown in a Cornfield is a really good slasher movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's funny as all fuck. The actual mystery of who the killer is legitimately engaging, and there's a lot of twists and turns there. And it delivers on the bloody red stuff, which is important for these movies. It's obviously not Terrifier. Don't get me wrong.
No, someone compared this to Terrifier, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? No.
This is about as gory as your standard 80s slasher.
Yeah.
Not your most gory ones, but like a My Bloody Valentine or something. And so, with that said, my fellow gorehounds, the movie is currently in theaters, and I highly recommend you go check it out. It is a Shudder movie, so if you can't make it out to theaters, don't worry. It will be on Shudder before the end of the year, I assure you. And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers.
Turns out, title of the movie's a lie.
It's actually Clowns in a Cornfield.
Yep.
There is multiple clowns in this movie because it turns out half of those red herrings are all the killer. First off, the kids did not actually burn down that factory. Cole's dad did.
Yeah, for the insurance money.
He burnt it down for the insurance money, but he tricked the entire town into believing it was the kids. And by doing this, he ended up starting a apparently decades-long ritual this town has had, where every time there's a troublesome generation that pops up, you gotta get rid of them. So this is why there was that scene in 1991 when a bunch of Gen X burnouts, slackers were fucking getting high and having sex in the barn. They had to be dealt with. So that was the last time they went on a friendo killing spree using the town's mascot as a serial killer. And now they're gonna do it this time because of these goddamn kids and their fucking YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So the killers include the store clerk,
the teacher,
and a bunch of other adults in town that I don't think we actually meet early on.
Some of them we do, some of them we don't.
Some of them are just like background characters in certain scenes.
Yeah.
About the only adult that we meet that doesn't actually become a killer is her dad.
The thing that's really interesting about her dad is that he gets embroiled in this plot because the kids cut off the hand of one of the clowns.
Yeah, the dude who is a huge red herring throughout the movie, the fucking redneck dude.
Yeah.
That guy shot the hands off of one of the fucking killers. And so they need to take that guy to a fucking hospital, and he's the local doctor.
Gen X dad is actually pretty competent.
He's very competent, and he's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, the only thing he doesn't know how to do is talk to his daughter about the dead mom.
Yes. He is incompetent at talking about his own grief, but that's understandable. Most people are.
Yeah. One of the other things that I really liked was the character of Rusty. They try to make him a red herring. Even his hair is red.
Yeah.
Like I was actually thinking of a pup named Scooby-Doo when I saw that.
Red herring.
It's red herring.
Yep.
One of the problems is you see Friendo, and Friendo is like normal sized.
Yeah.
Rusty is huge.
Until you see the multiple friendos, and then all of a sudden you got fat friendo, you got large friendo, you got small friendo, you got girl friendo. But the initial friendo you see throughout the movie when you just think it's one friendo is a pretty normal sized guy.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, when you think it's just one guy. So you're like, I don't think that's him. He looks too small.
He obviously had some sort of falling out with Cole. And so he keeps warning Quinn, like, stay away from Cole. He's dangerous.
Yeah.
You know how we said that, like, Cole is very hot and cold with Quinn throughout the movie, which makes him feel very shady?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out there's a reason for that. He's gay.
Yeah, he and Rusty are gay and they were dating.
Yes, they were gay lovers in a small hick town, and so they had to keep it on the down low, and one of them was cool with it and the other one was not. This is why Cole has this like history of like leading women on and then like backing out at them when it comes time to commit to anything.
Yeah, including sex.
Including sex. He's just trying to reaffirm some sort of straightness that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
So like, he's actually a good guy, he's just in the closet.
You know.
That revelation also partially explains part of his dad's problem with him.
Yeah.
It's never outright stated, but I got a little bit of that implication that, oh, okay, this kid was already on the outs for you before you started blaming him for all this fucking fire shit because he was your gay son.
He didn't love his gay son.
He did not love his gay son. It was a nice twist on the slasher romance.
The movie does end with an opening for a sequel.
The dad gets away, not Quinn's dad, Cole's dad. And it's kind of like with very little fanfare.
Yeah, he just sort of like exits the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird until I found out about the book series, and then it started to make sense. I'm like, oh, okay, they're actually setting up
There's
threads
Clown in the
sequels.
Cornfield too, you know.
Yep, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the sequel if they make it.
Yeah.
Hopefully this movie does well enough in theaters that they do make it. I want to see more Friendo.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Definitely not on the level of Terrifier or Art the Clown.
No,
I mean, it's a completely different thing.
Terrifier exists in the same realm as Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream, slasher movies that just completely reinvented the slasher.
Yeah.
This is not a reinvention of the slasher. It's just using tropes in a very clever way and doing its own unique twist on it.
I would say it's probably about on par with Thanksgiving.
I could see that, yeah. It would make a great double feature with Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's very dangerous to have a Founder's Day in a slasher movie.
Yeah.
Between this movie, Thanksgiving, and Founder's Day, the slasher movie. Don't ever go to a Founder's Day. You're going to get slashed to death by your town mascot. I'm just telling you right now. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Well, you can find me right here on YouTube, where I stream every weeknight at about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'd love to see you, so come down, give me a chat. Hail Satan.
Y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on various social media platforms, but these days I primarily use Blue Sky, so follow me on there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages, and remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way, but we will certainly accept more. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag Corn in a Clownfield. See, Corn's got to play with the Insane Clown Posse, and that's got to be the name of the concert.
Shit! Oh, shit!
Corn in a Clownfield.
That's it. That's it. Corn in a Clownfield. Fucking #1 album, 2026. Come on, it's coming at you.
There you go.
Coming at you. Coming next year.
And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, peace out, and we'll catch y'all later.